When they tell their story, hold fast. When they tell their story, hold fast. What do I mean by that? When people are talking about you and telling other people things about you, smearing your character and saying hurtful things about you that you know is not true, or they're telling half of the story. They may only tell about how you responded or what you said and twist what you said, totally change the context in which things were said. Hold fast, hold your peace. When people are doing these things and they're telling lies, they are omitting truths. They're telling partial truth, which boils down to it being a lie. Hold your peace. Hold your peace. Refrain from trying to explain yourself to men. Use wisdom in every interaction that you have with these kinds of people and these groups, especially those who will come back to tell you what was said about you. Discern who is calling you during these times. Discern the conversation, the words that are said to you in order to bait you into telling your side of the story. But isn't it a temptation to want to tell your side? But I'm here to tell you that people will do certain things to cover up their lies. And what they do, especially when it's in ministries, whether you are in an actual church, you're in a virtual church, whatever it is, a home church or a group, a prayer group, a lot of times when a person is telling a lie, they're going to have to keep going, because they immediately become tormented by their own lies. When they first tell that lie, they have to think about what will happen if they get caught. So they start to do other things to cover up that lie. And they begin to take up this domino effect of covering, because each time they lie, there's a reflection on them that they know they're lying. And they start to become paranoid as to, well, what is the next thing that could be said? If they see you standing and talking to that person that they lied to, they're already thinking in their head what you could possibly be saying and how they might get found out. So they come up with another lie. They begin to make phone calls. They begin to set up the next stage. Why? Because they themselves become tormented by that lie that they have told. A lot of times, if they've done wrong, they'll do things and try to not only lie, but set people up to try to get you out of that organization, out of that group before they are found out. Again, the tormenting spirit of let's get this person out of this church, out of this group, out of our association, out of our organization, because this person is only worried about what if I get caught? So there's this domino effect. But I'm here to tell you to hold your peace. Refrain from getting into the isms and the schism of deception. When you have been lied on as a child of God, you need to turn to him. Bring him your cause. Bring him your cause. Just as the ladies that had to see King Solomon over that live child. One had overlaid her child, smothered her child in the night. She rolled over and slept on top of the child, and she stole her baby, the other lady's live baby, and claimed it was hers. But they went before the king. They didn't fight. They were probably fighting, I'm sure, but they went before the king, who made a sound decision, who was able to get to the bottom of the truth. When the servant who had been given amnesty by the king and exonerated of all his debt, and then he went and caught hold of a fellow servant who owed him far less than what that king owed him, than what he had owed the king, he would not allow that man, no matter how much the man said, I don't have it right now, just give me time. He would not, and threw him in prison. But guess what? His case, even though that man was imprisoned, his case was brought before the king by others that saw, by witnesses that saw what happened. And I want you to know the same thing. If you bring your case before the king, if you bring your case before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, he will vindicate you. And I want you to know that at times it may feel like you're being pushed down in the dirt. You have egg on your face. You got pie on your face. It may feel like everybody's laughing at you, but this is the divine way of the Lord. You see, they laughed at him. They mocked him. They scorned him. But if you continue on the path and look to the hills from whence comes your help, if you look to the Lord from whence comes your help, if you understand that he will not suffer your foot to be moved, if you understand that he doesn't slumber and he doesn't sleep, if you understand that he is a shade upon your right hand, he will not allow the sun to smite you by day nor the moon by night. He'll preserve you from all evil. If you understand that he will walk with you in the valley of the shadow of death and you have no reason to fear, then I'm telling you to hold your peace. Because the minute you engage, you are caught in that domino effect and that mess. Don't worry. God knows. God knows. God sees all that they're doing. He saw what they were conceiving in their heart before they brought it into fruition. And he may have even warned them and told them not to do it. The Holy Spirit was speaking to them. They felt that check in their spirit before they told that lie, but they did. Don't worry. When they grab you by the collar spiritually and push you out, and maybe some of you've actually experienced that physically, leave quietly. When they tell lies and when they put you out of the synagogues and when they have twisted your story and when they have gathered and took counsel against you in secret, always know that there is an unseen audience that hears all things. The eyes of the Lord rose to and fro in the earth. He sees all things. He knows all things. He knows everything, guys. So what I want you to do is to be still. Do not engage with the enemy. Do not engage in the things of the flesh. And just know that God has seen it all and he will vindicate you. Refrain from wanting to get involved in it. Let your hands be cleaned as Pilate washed his hands. Wash your hands. If you made mistakes, you ask the Lord to forgive you for your sin. But no man has the right to hold your head under a guillotine. No man has a right to put their hand upon you. No man has a right to pick up a stone to throw it at you, because no one is without sin. So God is setting you free. Go to him and ask him to forgive you. And those of you, you may not have done nothing at all, but because they were angry with you, because they had an ought against you, because they were jealous of you, because you didn't follow after their ways and chose to follow God. Now they're trying to attack you to make you either comply or leave. But I hear God saying, leave. Stop staying in these places. Leave these places. Leave the places of the dry bones. Leave the mausoleums, the spiritual mausoleums. Be okay with being with God and be led by him. But those of you, whatever you may be going through right now, I hear God saying, refrain from getting yourself involved. Because when God brings his judgment and his wrath, he's coming for those whose hands are unclean. And so you don't want to be found having unclean hands and an unclean heart because you chose to get revenge. You chose to begin to tell your side. God says your side does not matter in face of those who have hearts that are turned against you, whose hearts are darkened. They don't care about truth. And no matter what you do, they'll take that truth and make it into a lie. They will hear it as a lie. They will see it as a lie. They'll perceive it as a lie because their heart is dark. And they want to be darkened. The Lord is saying, be still, refrain, and hold thy peace during these times.